Hi, this is Dustine from Two Lucky Cats, and I want to explain to you how to install a quartz clock movement into your clock. And to do this, I'm going to use the Happy Cat face clock to show you how to install it. The first thing that you need to do in order to install the movement is make a hole that'll be big enough so the shaft here on this movement will fit up through the hole. And the way that I start to do this is to find the center. Now in this clock, the 3 this way is about halfway uh, across. So we'll start right here and then we'll kind of go in the middle, which is about, let's do it right about here. So we're going to make our hole right here. And since this is made out of cardboard, I just take a Phillips screwdriver and start by making a hole through, and then just kind of work the screwdriver through. Make sure your hand isn't over the place where the screwdriver is coming out, and just keep moving it back and forth until it comes out the other side, like this. And then just hold it like this and kind of work it around. Because the shaft here, the screwdriver, isn't big enough to make a hole for this. So once I kind of work it back and forth, I just take a pencil, get one that doesn't have a real fine point on it, and just start twisting it. And do it from one side, and then you can do it through the other side. And then it won't take very long until you make a hole that's big enough for the shaft here to fit through. Now that you've made the hole in the center of the clock, you can insert the clock movement. So some of these clock movements have a hanger attached, but in this case, you have to attach a hanger. So you want to put it on the back and on the top of the movement. If I turn it over, you can see that the bottom here is where the battery goes. So put it on like this, and then there's like a rubber washer, and put that on. And then thread this through the hole. Then you want to put on the washer, and then you need to put on this nut, and you can just turn it with your fingers to tighten it up. Alright, and that's what holds the movement onto the clock. So the next thing you want to attach is the hour hand, and as you can see, it has a hole in it, and right here there's like a plastic round part, and you press the hand down tightly. Then the next thing you attach is the minute hand, and as you can see, the hole has 2 sides on it, and then the ends are rounded. And it's the same thing for this the metal part that comes out that you attach it to. So you just have to make sure you have it going in the right way, and then you push it down. Now with this clock movement that I have, there's only an hour hand and a minute hand. So if you only have those 2 hands, there's like a little cap that you screw on the top that holds the hands, like this. You can get movements that have a second hand, and instead of this little cap, usually there's some kind of a nut that goes on the top, and then you just push this little rod here, this little gold rod, into it. And that's how you attach the second hand. Now, there might be minor differences in some of the movements you get, but pretty much this is the way that it goes in terms of how you want to install it. I did want to point out a few things that you want to keep in mind when you're buying movements for the clock. For one thing, you want to make sure that you have all the pieces. Sometimes they sell this plastic movement separate from the hands and the hardware that you need to put it all together. So make sure that when you're purchasing it that you're getting everything at once, because there's nothing more frustrating than getting home and finding out you don't have everything you need to finish the project. So one thing you do have to consider, one of the things they talk about is the length of the shaft. And one thing you have to consider, if you have a clock that has like a glass face, you have to make sure that the distance between the top of the clock face and the top of the shaft here is shorter than that glass cover. But since we have no glass cover, you can totally ignore that. But what we do have to be concerned about is that the shaft is long enough to fit through here, the hanger and the washer, and then the depth of the side of the clock that the shaft has to go through. So this is about, about a quarter of an inch, I guess. And then you have to make sure that you have enough room here to screw on the bolt. So what the rule of thumb is that you need about a quarter to an eighth of an inch. So if you did an eighth of an inch, that would be 2/16. And then you add on the depth. So if you measure that, that would be 4/16. So that would be 6/16, and then you add on another eighth. So that would be another 2/16. So that would be about 8/16 altogether. And this particular movement I got is 3/4 of an inch. So if you measure and it looks like it's a little deeper, you might get a little bit longer shaft, because these shafts come in different sizes. So that's all you need to consider in order to buy your shaft and put it on, and your clock is all finished. Then the last thing to do is to insert an AA battery here in the back and put a new battery in, and it should last for about a year before it's time for you to change it and put a new battery in. So you can hang it on the wall and find out what time it is. I hope this information was helpful to you, and I hope you come and visit us often at www.twoluckycats.com.